Welcome to Volume 3 of EXCIA. I am so proud and honored today to have Beth Byrd, who is VP of Sales for Anewgo. Hey, Beth, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me, Roland.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I'm really excited to chat with you. As you and I know, we know each other really well. We go back a long time, so I can't wait to get started. I would love to hear about your background in new home sales, how you got started, what is your origin, if you will, and then how did you get the position as what is it, Madam President? Did you say of Madam VP of Sales at Nugo and what you do, and then let's watch some stuff and show us how we can improve the sales process thanks to the amazing tools of you and your company.
Well, thanks for inviting
Yeah.
me today, Roland. So, I started in new home sales in 2013. Prior to
Okay.
that, I had worked in a lot of related industries. I did flooring and furniture, interior design is my background,
Oh,
but
I'd forgotten that. Yeah.
yeah. So I started working for a small builder in Oklahoma. At the time, we were doing about 20 homes a year. And
Right.
when you're that size, that means you do everything yourself. So I did
Right.
home
Which is where we
sales.
met when you were there at Beacon Homes in beautiful Oklahoma. Yeah. So you were doing everything yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to
sales,
interrupt.
marketing, and design, just and janitor and all the
Yeah,
things.
yeah, absolutely.
But as the team grew, or as the company grew, I was able to grow the team. And when I left after 11 years, we were
Wow.
doing about 120 homes a year. So had significantly grown over that time. And you were a big part of that growth for me.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you for saying that. I'm not sure if it's true, but I did enjoy meeting you. What was it, 7, 8 years ago? It must have been when
Yeah.
I passed through there a couple of times. We worked together for a couple of years, and yeah, and I remember you, of course, very, very, very well. You were a superstar from the very beginning. I remember doing training on the first day, and you're like, "What about this? Can we do that? And what about this?" And you showed me those drawings you had for ideas to improve the sales processes and so forth. So it was quite obvious that you're destined for the biggest possible things in our industry. So I'm so happy for you that you're doing so well. So yeah, so you were with Beacon for 11 years, and then how did you get to work for Hugo, and what do you do there?
Yeah, so I had really grown to the point that the only position to move up in the company was owner, and that was not a role that I wanted to take on, of course. And this really kind of came out of nowhere. My friend Sarah was in the role before me, and when she left to pursue another amazing opportunity she had, I called her and I said, Sarah, do you think I'd be good at that job? And she said, yeah, you need to call John Lee, the CEO. So I did, and I said, John, I don't know about this, but like let's just talk about it. And the more we
Yeah.
talked about it, the more I realized it would be something I'd love doing. And it's been such a great
Oh,
transition. I love to talk
good.
to builders all over the country and share what I learned in my 11 years at Beacon.
Yeah, yeah. And Yugo has a huge following, right? For those that don't know the name in Yugo, if that's possible, I mean, you probably have to be living under a rock at this point not to know you. But it started out as it with a different name, and with just only virtual renderings, and now you've sort of transitioned into a Yugo with you at the helm, and I think 400 to 500 builders under your umbrella of companies that you help. It's quite a lot of companies I know that you work with. Do I have that anywhere close? Is it some such number?
Yeah, that's right. We started as Rendering House about 20 years
Rendering
ago.
house.
I was a
Yep,
client of Rendering House and then
that's right.
really shifted names and focuses to technology. And that's where the name
Yeah,
Anewgo came. And we do serve several hundred builders across the country now.
perfect. I probably embellished when I said 500, so a couple hundred is still plenty. I know it's always changing, like every
Yeah,
business,
three
but
or 400. Yeah.
there we go. And then for those that haven't seen Beth speak again, if you haven't been to a builder show, then that would be the only way you haven't. But I saw you at the sales rally a couple of years ago, and you were absolutely amazing. And I couldn't be prouder of you and your accomplishments. And I've seen you every year at the builder show, International Builder Show, at some program or another. So it looks like speaking is sort of part of one of your skill sets that you bring to the table, as well as interfacing with builders and bringing them to the table. Is that
I do
something that?
enjoy that. And I have to give you credit. You were the first one to invite me to speak at IBS. And
Oh,
of course,
really?
that was the year, that was 2021. So it was all virtual. I didn't get to
Oh
see you in
no.
person. Remember that?
Yeah, I do vaguely. I remember you speaking at our retreat. We have a mastermind management retreat. I was just going through photos this morning to do a blog, and I saw you and Troy were speaking together. So yeah, I'd forgotten about the Builder Show. I know everything that happened during COVID seems like in a fog. I don't know if that's intentional on our part or whatever, but yeah, it is coming back to me now. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, well, of course, you're a very talented speaker. You're amazing to watch, and you always have great content that's current. It's from the real world today. So yeah, so there we go. There's a little bit about your background and what brings you to the point you're at. So now, if you could tell me a little bit about Anewgo in terms of what is it that we're trying to fix today for those getting used to my podcast format. I want to show people things. I'm determined to show what success looks like or what excellence looks like. So what is the problem that you're going to show us we can resolve?
Sure. And we mentioned that the company changed names from Rendering House to Anewgo, and that's because John wanted to make a new go of new home sales. That's the
There we
idea.
go.
So
Yeah.
that we're trying to improve the customer experience and the builder experience alongside that. But we know when the
Good.
customer wins, the builders win. And
Yes.
so, I was a client for 6 years before I joined the team. And so a lot of what
Yeah.
I want to show you today is what I actually did myself on site with the tools.
Yes.
And
Good.
then what I've learned from other people who are using their tools now that I've gotten to watch it across the country, lots of great sales professionals have given me even more ideas.
Oh, that's great. And for John Lee is a visionary in our industry. So hats off to John for changing the name, being brave enough, and we are going to give it a new go right now. And I totally agree with that. That yes, there are some essential fundamentals part of the sales process, marketing to a certain extent, but we have to be looking forward all the time. We can't afford to sit still. There is no such thing as status quo. So how do you include and evolve technology into your sales process to improve it, to enhance the experience for the customer, and just make it easier for them to say yes? How do you take away obstacles perhaps that are in their mind that a skilled salesperson with the right technology at their fingertips can improve? So I really can't wait to see what you have to show us, and let's look and talk it through.
Sounds great. Let's go.
All right.
You taught me that. Let's
Let's
go,
go. I was
right?
going to say, I got excited. He said, let's go. Let's do it. Let's get started, shall we? All
Shall
right, let's
we?
go. Yeah, again, for those that don't, I keep saying for those that don't know, that sounds terrible. I got to come up with something different to say, but for those that don't train with me, I'm a big fan of let's, L-E-T apostrophe as S, as opposed to would you like to. So let's do this is a great transition. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so as I thought about this topic, Roland, I thought there's really three parts that we can divide this up into. It's before the appointment,
Hmm.
at the appointment, and then after the appointment. So that's sort of
Perfect.
the
Yeah,
process I thought we would talk through. And,
sounds great.
maybe this goes without saying, but I think it still needs to be said.
Yes.
Make sure you know how to use your tools before the
Yes.
customer comes in, whether this is an appointment or a walk-in.
Yeah.
I find not all the salespeople really learn how to use everything that the builder provides them. So that's the first thing that I do
Definitely.
is let's get the sales team together. Let's practice it. Like design a
Yeah.
home on your own over and over until you're really comfortable with it. So when you're in front
Right.
of the customer,
Yes.
you're ready to go. And that's another thing
I,
you taught me.
Well, I always keep saying that's so sweet, but I'll just say thank you for the nice compliments. But I know you would have figured this out. But it's like anything that you do that's new, the first time you do it, it usually doesn't go that well, or maybe you don't have an awareness of it. But the second time it becomes more comfortable. By the third time, you start to get into a rhythm with things. So whenever I go around the country training, we'll read a new dialogue, and the first time it's bumpy, second time it starts to make sense, third time it sounds really good. So you're absolutely right. If you have this technology in your sales arena, then please practice with it. Don't practice in front of a customer. That way you'll have a lot more fun. You'll save your files that you want ahead of time. Well, stuff you're going to show us, I'm sure. But
Yep.
yeah, let's get comfortable with it. All right, can't wait to see.
So this is the back end of a tool we call Insights, and I'm here as a fake prospect here, so you can see. But what
Okay.
happens is when a customer signs in and creates a profile, they can save their favorite homes. and they
Okay. Yes.
create brochures, and there's lots of activity happening on the back end. So as a salesperson, you need to be logging in and seeing, oh, Beth was interested in the bump out at the family room, and she
Wow.
really liked that sliding glass door upgrade. And it looks like the cream color packages are most popular, but she also likes these kind of brown and taupe tones.
Incredible. So again, just for the simple people like me out there, for the layperson, a client is on your website building their home on paper, or building their home sort of plug and play, and salespeople should have access to the back end to go look at what they're doing. So when the customer comes in for their appointment, you already have an awareness of that. Is
That's
that
right.
what we're
You could
saying?
even have printed out the brochure for the most recent home that they saved. I mean, how
Amazing.
special are they going to feel if they walk in and you've prepared? You already know
Oh
the
yeah.
plan. You're further down the discovery process, and you can really help them narrow down on the specific questions they have at that
Right.
point.
Now, a more technical but practical question.
Yeah.
Would every salesperson have access to the back end, or would it be the OSC or the marketing manager? Do they have to get special permission to get in there? Or tell me practically how somebody could sort of actually employ this in their daily
Sure.
routines. And so we don't hear pushback, oh, I would like to, but I don't have that access, or I don't know how to get access or something. That was my
It's up
voice when
to
I'm confused.
Yeah, it's up to the builder. Different builders choose different things, but there is a level of permissions that allows a salesperson to just come in and see what they need to see. So if the builder's worried
Okay.
about them changing settings or doing
Oh,
other things,
really?
you don't have to give them permission to do that, but they
Amazing.
give them permission to access the information. So just
That's
ask.
huge. Yeah, incredible. All right. And now, from your practical experience, Beth, do the salespeople, I call it sort of confirm and learn, and you'll probably get to it. And I'm just like impatiently excited. But is it okay to say, hey, I see that you built out whatever that plan is, and you like this, or does that scare customers when they realize that you are watching and monitoring their private kind of playing around on the website kind of stuff? Like, what's the best way to introduce that in a way that's comfortable for everybody?
I do think you have to know the client and be
Hmm.
cautious, but in this case, they've created an account. And I think
Okay,
anybody knows when you create an account, if I created an account for Target, I know that they can see what's in my shopping cart. So
fair
it's a
enough.
little creepy if you know what they're browsing before
Yeah,
they
yeah.
made an account, but once they've made an account, I wouldn't
Well,
pay.
okay, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, good. So maybe that's a difference maker, is that they've actually gone in and created an account, which then gives you permission to go in and check on what's in their account. And then again, practically speaking, a lot of leads come through our online sales counselor to the
Mhm.
salesperson. So, maybe that's something that we could say, hey, Lisa, my online sales counselor, sent me some information on what you've been looking at, and I printed it to get ready for you. So maybe that makes it a bit more palatable. I don't know. What is your experience with making sure the customer doesn't get scared in any way by us being so prepared with this stuff?
It is part of that explaining the handoff.
Yeah, the
The
handoff.
LC shared this great information with me. She told me that you'd
Right.
set up an account already on our site. So I took a
Perfect.
look and I see what you're interested in. Just be
Right.
honest about it.
No, it's great. It's great. I think you and I have talked about this. It's like if you were, if you call a credit card company, a hotel, an airline, and you have some kind of problem, and you explain your life story to them, and then they put you on hold, and you got to say it again,
Yeah.
and then they put you on hold. You got to say by the third time, like, I'm out of here. I just don't,
Right.
forget it. Whatever it was. So this is the opposite, where you're so prepared. As I chatted with my online sales counselor, and she explained blah blah blah, or he explained this, and so we just wanted to get ready for you. So now the customer goes, "This is amazing. You guys are aligned and are very professional and ready to help." So it's incredible already.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Okay. So my last step in preparing is have your tools ready. So I would say two things. One is have your phone, have the app or your Anewgo website open on a tab on your browser, ready to
Okay.
go. Okay.
Good.
The other is if you have a touchscreen TV or even your laptop, if you have our Sales Center app, which this is it, it's meant to be a touchscreen. So I'm using my mouse, but you tap with your fingers.
Hmm.
This is sort of
Okay.
replacing a lot of the things that are in our sales binder or the marketing things on the wall, and it's
Right.
all in one place for technology. So have these two tools ready so that you can not just tell, not just say, but show them, which is exactly
Yeah.
the point of the podcast here, right? Don't just talk about it, but show them.
Yeah, yeah. Show and tell, or show not tell. But yes,
Right. Yeah. So when you're talking about the amenities, don't just talk about them. Show them pictures of this great pool or of the
right.
beautiful lake in the community or the fitness center. And then, even more powerful, we know that people are learning by doing. Let them
Yes.
start tapping around and let
Oh, I
them
love it.
start
Encourage them.
exploring.
Yeah. You make it tactile and invite them in to touch the screen and expand things out.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
right. Exactly. Let them play with the area map and see what's nearby. As you're having these conversations about the location and the community and the
Right.
lifestyle, you can be
Good.
integrating the technology in that conversation, and that's going to keep them engaged. And you can watch where are they going. So I
Right.
know how
I
to
hear you.
direct the conversation to what they're focused on.
Right. Could you also do it with this is a really good point, because one of the only things I don't like about a touchscreen, and I do like touchscreens, other than the fact that if they fail, then then that's it. But if there's no backup on the walls or whatever, but presuming that we're better than that now and things work. The only other thing I don't like is that sometimes it can feel a bit overly directed, where the salesperson is giving sort of a speech and let me show you this and let me show you that. So two ways around that. One is just what you suggested, let them do that. The other is just to ask lots of questions and say what's important to you in the location, like is shopping or restaurants or schools, and then you can then print that out. You can focus more on that. So I think the customer driving it themselves is genius. I never would have thought of that. Also, classically, just making sure the salespeople ask bunches of questions and don't just say, "Let me tell you about the area," but what do you know about it? What do you like about it? What location features are important? Where are you moving? Those kinds of things, and then you can focus on that more. So either way, as long as it's interactive and connective, it's not going to be a sales pitch, right? It's going to be sort of something that's a collaboration. Is that where we're going?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Collaboration. Yeah. And this kind of ties into where we'll go later. But if they are using this in the model home with you or in the sales office with you, they're more likely to use it at home, which is what you want them to do. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So getting
Yeah,
them doing it
yeah,
early gets
yes.
them comfortable with the tool and excited about using it.
I love it. I love it. You're exactly right. Okay, good. So
Yeah.
what did you got for us next? And is Blue Jay Woods a real place, or did you just make it just for us?
It's imaginary. We
That's
made
a
it
nice
up.
name. Yeah,
Yeah, all the
Blue Jay.
communities in our demo site are named after a bird.
I
John
love
did that
birds.
because I'm Beth Bird. He likes to play on
Oh,
that.
I never thought about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking of the character. What was that TV series which had his name? Ozark was I think
Oh,
his name was
yeah,
Bird. I always thought of you when I watched Ozark, which is a strange thing to say. So,
that's funny. Well, I pulled this map up because one thing I was thinking about when you're on site, if you have
yes,
this on an iPad, so not just a touchscreen TV, but I recommend an iPad. When you're walking the home site, you can have the map and you
right,
can be
right.
zooming in and
Oh,
helping
look at that.
understand like, okay,
Right.
let's look at the lots and let's then even click and see, let's pull up a picture of that pool that's going to be built across the street so you can imagine
Wow. So
what
you
that's
can,
going to look
yeah. I'm sure you meant to say home site. I think you
like.
did,
Oh, I
but
did.
it's okay though. It's okay. We're old
Pressure
friends. Yeah.
buzzard.
It does say a lot on there always, so it's always the hardest thing. But
Yeah,
the point is the tool is remarkable. So you can sort of scan around and show them
mhm,
real world, even though the pool's not in yet, this will be across the way, but look at the
that's right.
landscaping that's going to come in, or the fact there will be extra landscaping. Yeah,
That's right.
perfect.
Or
What
if
else
you're
does
walking maybe a plan that they're thinking about building or is under construction, I'll click through real quick here so you can see. So maybe you're walking through a home that's in framing and they're
hmm
having a hard time
Yes,
understanding the floor plan. You've got it
yes,
here and you can zoom in real close and look at exactly
definitely.
what's coming and help them
Yes,
understand. And again, it's all in one contained place in your iPad, or
correct.
I've done this on my cell phone. I'm walking there with my cell phone, showing them
Yeah.
zooming in.
Yeah, yeah. I've role played with salespeople, and as opposed to bringing the paper floor plan, which is what we would have done in the past, yeah, I've role played where they've had your app and they've had it on their iPad and they say, "Hey, Roland, let's look at the kitchen. Can you picture it?" No, let me show you. Here's what the kitchen will look like. Here's the cabinets, the counters, and show it sort of in real time in the space to make it really make it impossible for for the customer not to picture it. Oh my gosh, there we go. So wow, just to explain for those that are watching, you take this with you, you get the customer centered. Beth and I both believe that to keep it simple. So let's do the kitchen for 10 or 15 minutes before we run around. Let's make sure that we anchor our process with that, because research says about 30% of time in a model or a move ready home is spent in the kitchen. So they can look at cabinets, counters, really understand it, go through it one by one, and then you can chunk it or recap it and close it. So it sounds like you like this, and this. Does that make sense? If you do it too quickly, the buyer might just be faking it to get out of there. But if you really spend your time, so I know I've talked way too much. Can you showcase what you're doing, and I'll promise to keep a little quieter.
You're doing a great job, Roland. If you want to join my sales team,
Well, yeah, I've
yeah,
only sold homes all my life, and I get so passionate about it. So, we did this back in the 1950s. Now, in the 90s at least, with paper and imagination and lots of arm waving. And so, could you
yeah,
picture the counters? And it could be either quartz or granite. Which would you prefer? Now you got this tool; it just blows it out of the water. And let's
yeah.
just use the tools correctly, but in the right space, and don't feel like you have to rush. The customer's not in a hurry, so let's just really make sure they get it. But yeah, so how would you apply this practically, Beth? You went through a few kitchen samples while I was yakking away. So what is your vision of how salespeople are using this?
Well, you're exactly on the right track. We may be standing in the kitchen. Let's start here. Let's say this is what my model home kitchen looks like. And the
Right,
buyer just doesn't like stained cabinets. And some people have a hard time picturing it in another way. Well, you know what? Here,
right,
let's look at some other samples of how this kitchen could look. And we can flip
incredible.
through. And which one do you prefer? Which
Right.
style do you like best? One of the things that really I feel passionate about is that each decision needs to lead
Oh
to,
wow.
and many times the technology is disconnected in the buyer experience. So they
Okay,
might
can
go
you
with
just go back to what you said, because I think it glitched, or I didn't hear it. You said something you feel passionately about. Say it
yeah.
again one more time.
Something I feel passionate about is making sure that each decision leads to the next
There
decision.
we go.
They're
There we
connected.
go.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. They're all connected to each other. It's not you
Mhm.
can't skip ahead and then hope to get it later. That's perfect.
Right. You don't want to be in an interactive site plan and they make a decision, but I have to close that tool and go to a whole other website to even look at a floor plan. You,
Right.
so the goal is they're connected. And if there's a question that comes back, well, we can just jump back to the floor plan right here. Easy. We'll just
Yeah,
connect
right.
and let's look at what that extra thing looks like, that sliding glass door. So be able to
Right.
jump back and forth. And then when the pricing is in here, it's even affecting my monthly payment.
Oh,
So
you're
my
kidding.
monthly payment is adjusting as I'm designing the house.
Right. So, and yeah, because on my little app for financing, we break it down to daily, but you can look at it monthly. So that difference, I think, just was about $30. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go.
that's right.
5, 10, $15 to get your dream home shouldn't really be a deal breaker.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
that's
and you
amazing.
can start to have conversations about special interest rate, maybe that you're offering for a
Yeah.
buy down or whatever it is. All of those
Yeah.
can be, those conversations are integrated together. They're happening one
Right.
to
Right.
another.
Right, and I know that we're going to get there because this is a great recapping tool at the end. So right now we're sort of in Act Two, as I like to call it, where you've taken them over to the home and the home site or the home under construction, and you're walking through it. So you're just getting them excited, and we'll say it a million times: buying is emotion backed by logic. So you get them to fall in love emotionally, they'll back it up with the logic of why they want it. So we've got to start with that and not start with the pricing aspect and that kind of stuff. So
That's
yeah,
right.
I had a visceral, is that the right word? A reflex when you went from the stain cabinets, which is what I had for 20 years and got tired of, to the white cabinets, which was I spent a fortune changing my home here in Miami. To that, I had a reflex of, oh my gosh, I love that. And even the white and gray felt very exciting to me. So if I'm your buyer, I'm in the home that's sort of a, broom swept framing, it's not very emotional. And then you show me that image and go, oh, well, that's a game changer. You've now got my attention. So, so starting to fall in love with the whole project, thanks to using the technology in the right space and then connecting back to the customer to make sure that's what they want to have. So it sounds like you do like the white cabinets and the
Mhm.
white quartz. You're leaning towards that. Perfect.
That's right. And that you're leading right into then the recap. So at the end, here's the elevation we selected. Here's your exterior colors you selected.
Right. Wow.
Here's the floor plan option. Here's the kitchen design package you picked. So it gives us a recap
Perfect.
of
Yeah.
everything down to total and monthly price.
Amazing. Okay. All right. And again, for those out there in the selling fields really working with this, this is what we would use terminology like this is what you like the most. This is what you're leaning towards. This works the best for you, that kind of stuff. But it really is important to create, to sort of get that tiebreaker out of there. Beth and I will talk about the fact that when people are confused, they're indecisive. So it might be that they don't do exactly that color scheme when they go to the design studio. Maybe they'll look at other options, but at least they have a really good idea of what they like and they're falling in love with something specific. You can't fall in love with an idea of something. You got to actually experience it. So that home in the middle, for example, if I think that's what we're looking at, the Cameron 2, does that say? Yeah, that color scheme, that's what I put together. Absolutely love it. So now I can move forward with it. Will I change it perhaps a little bit, the design studio? But the point is that they're moving now in the direction you want them. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going. This is a great tool that I would use when they're struggling to narrow it down to one of a kind.
Right, right.
Maybe they're stuck looking at they don't know which elevation they want. Well, great, let's just pull it up
Oh,
on the screen and let's design it two different ways and you can compare
right.
side by
Yeah.
side which one you like better in a way that would be really difficult to do without this tool.
It's so interesting. Yeah, and bias shot by a process of elimination. I've heard that challenge, but we all do narrow down things. So I'm looking at those three images, and I thought I liked all three equally, but not really. For me personally, I could eliminate the one in the middle, even though I thought I loved it. So now it's between Craftsman or American, and that kind of stuff. So, but I couldn't do that without this kind of technology. Is my point. It'd be way too confusing, and a
Yeah,
flat piece of paper there's not the 3D like you have here is such a different experience. And
it
even
is.
the fact that you so cruelly have this at night that looks so with the lights on, it just looks so Norman Rockwell, and it's just so appealing. It's just like come home to this beautiful home. I mean, it's so easy to move forward.
It
So
is.
yeah,
The other thing I wanted to share a story from a salesperson I was working with, back to the map here, used
yeah,
this tool to overcome objections. So she had a
okay,
husband and wife come in. The wife loved the home. This is where she wanted to be, and the husband just was against it. And she finally figured out his problem was he felt like it was too far of a commute. He said, I work
okay.
at the airport. I need to be within 40 minutes of the airport. And she said, well, we are. And he said, no, 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 I don't think that's possible. Well, she pulled up the map. I don't know where the airport is in this sample map, but
Right.
let's just pretend it's Costco here.
Yeah,
She
oh,
hit
there we go.
view
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Google Maps and she pulled directions, and sure enough, they were less than 40 minutes from
Oh,
the
wow.
airport. And rather than just telling, she was able to show him that, and he kind of,
Yes.
oh, okay, you win.
Oh my
We
gosh.
can move here after all.
Well, I'm getting goosebumps. Whoever that salesperson deserves a shout out for that. That's amazing because and it just proves that people do shop macro to micro, location, community home. So we preach it all the time that you could have the greatest home out there, but if it's in the wrong area, the buyer doesn't, or in the wrong space, if you will, for their lifestyle, then it just doesn't work for them. So the fact that that salesperson had the ability to get in there and really show them on a map that, hey, I called it MapQuest, but my brother-in-law made fun of me the other day. I guess it's whatever you want to. It's not a map quest anymore. It could be anything, but you just show that route. What a great way to overcome that, and it's such a common thing. So many people wouldn't have that conversation. The buyer leaves thinking I can't buy because of that, and you probably don't ever see them again. So you solve it in real time, especially having the wife as the ally that wanted to go ahead, and the husband was doing the typical curmudgeon husband thing of I don't think so, it's too far from work or whatever. So the salesperson ganged up on him. Is perfect. What a great way to use technology.
Yep,
Yeah, to manage
exactly.
objections in real time. You could do that with
Absolutely.
schools, you could do it with shopping, and
Mhm.
anything really.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I think that the key is helping the buyer see the benefits of using this technology. That and
Sure.
overcoming objections is one example, but we want them to keep using this when they go home. So
Hmm.
let them see why. So for example, here, let's say
Yep.
I've designed a home here. I can show them, if we favorite this for you, we can create a sign in here for you in the model. You can favorite. And when you get home, it'll be in your shopping cart and you can pick back up on where you left off.
Okay.
People need to
Sure.
see if they're gonna give us something of value, their contact information, they want to
Right.
receive something of value. So I use this as my number one tool for walk-ins to get their registration
I
information
see.
because I'd be using it and say, do you want to just play with this when you get home so you can design
Yeah.
on your own? Nobody
Sure.
ever says no to that. Everybody's like, yes, I want to do
Right.
this on my own. So
Right.
when you get their contact information, I would text it immediately. I didn't stop and fill out a registration card. I
Oh,
just
wow.
opened my text messages.
Sure.
Why I said have it ready on your phone. And
Sure.
I would text them a link immediately. And I would explain to them why to use the tool, explain that they
Perfect.
can save favorites, explain they can share them with family or friends, that they can
Right.
come back and keep designing. Because I find many times builders don't give them the why.
Okay.
When we talk about features and benefits in the home, we've been taught to give a feature. Well, so what? What does that matter to the buyer?
Right.
We
I've
tell
heard
them
that
why it
before.
matters.
Yeah, yeah, good. All right. And then asking an involvement question, FBI, how does that work for you? What do you think? Does that make sense? Could you see yourself sitting at home and finishing building your home if they weren't able to do it together? So
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it. Are you going to get into the recap close or have we gone past that point in the sales process? But I don't want to, I'm a big believer, as you know, I'm so sort of fastidious with the right process. So I want to wait my turn and make sure if you're going to go there anyway.
Let's circle back to it because I just touched on it really
Oh,
briefly.
okay, okay, good. All right,
Okay.
perfect. So thank you. Well, one of the core beliefs that I have as a trainer, and this isn't about me, I promise, it's about the sales process. And I know that Beth and your teams have always done this, is to never negotiate on your feet, but always close at your seat kind of thing. And so the whole goal is that we've gone out into the community, we found a home site rather, we've shown them the home that could be going on that home and the choices. You're going to ask for the sale. Some might say yes, others say they're not ready. So we're going to say, let's go back and recap and bring them back to your office for a formal sit down. So I call it Act Three because I love movies and we talk in terms of beginning, middle, and the end is Act Three. So if you're not sitting down and recapping, you're probably missing out on opportunities. So for me, this tool, this is where it comes into its own, where you can really sit down and go, okay, so you like the location, correct? Because you're 39 minutes to the airport on a busy morning. So you're close to work, schools, whatever. You like the location. You love the community because the lifestyle, the amenities, whatever else it is. You love the home, the outside. You love the home site because whatever the exposure might be. And three unique set of propositions. Now let's confirm the home plan and make sure we have it right. And then starting from the outside in, so it looks like it's the what was it? Not the calamari, the Cameron, the calamari grill, the Cameron 2, if you will. Let's verify the choices for now. Just give an idea. Good. So here it is, and you like those sort of taupes and whites and creams, and you believe the cottage style is perfect. Good. I'll print that for you. Right. And then let's look at the home plan and make sure we have the right cabinets and and just to give you an idea so that we can price it for you and give you an idea of what that would look like. Flooring maybe is part of that. Would flooring be part of that? Maybe some pre-designed structural choices like a covered patio or a different bathroom configuration or whatever it might be. Maybe three or four choices, and then you can print it, price it, and close it on the spot. Does that sound about
That's
right?
exactly right. I was just scrolling through a brochure here, and this
Okay,
is a
good.
recap of all those things. It's everything we've
Yeah,
just selected, unique
good.
to them. This is not generic. This is everything they picked out
Right,
with the
right.
pricing included.
And there's no wiggle room in terms of getting out of that. That's the perfect process is to come back and recap. If they say they're not going ahead, and look, a lot of people aren't ready, especially if they're building a home, because building a home has a lot of moving parts, and it's the confusion that leads to the indecision. There's too many things swimming through their brain, and so I don't want to encourage them to leave. if I can go ahead and guide them, as their guide in front of them and help them to understand it. And so going through those important elements, let me go ahead, and it's already priced, it looks like, but your program is so efficient, and then you could print it, review it together, and go ahead and ask for the sale. And if they say that they want to think about it, or what in particular, oh, okay, it's the price. Well, how much too high? What did you have in mind? Well, let's look at what we can change, or let's look at a different loan program if the monthly investment is too high. But you've got the tool to really close now if you use this properly. What do you think? Giving you a
I
sales
agree
pitch for your
completely.
product.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And maybe they're not ready at that day. They're
Right.
stuck between a couple things.
Okay.
Let's design
Y-
two different homes and let's save
Yeah,
them both
yeah,
to your profile and
sure.
you can review them and we'll
Right,
come back later and revisit. You don't have to start at the beginning of the process
right.
over again every
That
time.
that no, that's right too. I mean, I just want to point out though that the one builder I worked with for a couple of years, they had they built 1,000. It was actually 999 on your lot homes. The second year we worked together, 45 to 50 salespeople in OSCs. There were five salespeople, excuse me, that outperformed the others in different divisions. And the thing they had in common, Beth, was that that builder had a very good tool like this. It was an online tool where you could plug and play and do your own thing. And it definitely got people in the door. But the difference maker with the top five salespeople was that they sat down at the end and built the home together with the tool, with the computer. They would turn their screens around. In fact, their offices were designed that way, where they had a screen that they could face the customer, and they would work on it together. They would sort of collab with the client, and then they would print it, review it, and sell it on the spot. And it was just that way people were, their buying temperature was peaking. It was sort of frothy and foamy and excited and easy to go ahead. So they learned to close while they're in front. Now, absolutely, if they weren't going to buy or they had some indecision, then they would have taught them how to use it and send them back away. But I just wanted to confirm with salespeople out there, just this is such a uh, what's such a powerful tool, such a lively tool, dynamic, robust, where get the buyer involved at your desk, build it together, price it, close it, and you're good to go. And in my opinion, I think this is the ultimate closing tool, really, because it's not a sales pitch. It's just helping them understand exactly what their dream home is going to look and feel like, and you couldn't really ask for more than that. So,
Right. And you're doing it in a very simple, polished way. You're not fumbling to pull papers from over
right.
here and to pull papers from over here.
Yes,
Everything you need
yes.
is in one place.
Yeah, we could meander off for a long time. Back in my day, it sucked, but we got through it and sold homes. But I remember selling $1 million homes with big, massive blueprints and samples in like an unair conditioned trailer, and we got some deposits, but we missed a lot because we didn't have this stuff back then. So now that we have the technology, how to leverage it into the sales process. So preparing up front, like you said, and being ready when the customer comes in, meeting them in the middle and guiding them through it. And then at the end in a recap. And then even afterwards, if you don't get the sale, in terms of your follow-up, teaching them how to use the tool so that they can really have fun and put it together. So how does that work then, Beth? If they don't buy that day, there's not a deposit or whatever, and they go, oh, we need some more time. But now you see them playing with their home online again. What is your what's your methodology to sort of intercept that in a non-big brothery way? Like, oh, I saw you were, working at 1 in the morning on Saturday morning and building your home again. I guess you are still interested. So we can't say it like that, probably.
Now, the first thing I do is as soon as they leave the model home, I send my thank you for coming email. And even if I've texted them the link, I email it to them in
Okay,
that email. So they've got that link as well in
I
case,
see. Okay,
they lose you in the text stream.
I
And
see.
then, like you said, we can start watching. Have they come back on the site? Has their interest jumped up recently?
Right,
And because they know you've made an account, they've made an account, they know that you are able to see the homes that they've saved. So I don't think it's big
right.
brothery. Now you wouldn't
No,
have
no.
people like, hey, I've been watching and I know what you're doing. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
happening. But I will say we have connections. So this information, a lot of it can push directly to the CRM. Hey, Roland was back. He made a new brochure. So the
Right.
CRM is notifying me, oh, I better reach out to Roland. Um,
Yeah.
but I really recommend creating those brochures and sending a brochure to a prospect, or
Okay.
have a sample here. This is one of our websites. This is a website only tool. I created a home and shared it with the family. So I named my family here the Myers family, and I sent them the home, and then they can edit further from me and they can rate it, which is a
Wow.
really fun thing. Like then I can see, did they
Oh my goodness.
3 stars?
Yeah.
Did they think this is 5 stars? Did they decide they want a lighter siding color or change the floor plan options? So as a salesperson, this might be my saved homes, and each one might be a different family, but you can share
Right.
unique listings with individuals.
Wow. Amazing. It's so interesting. So yeah, it is a good point. Like I'm not the best at technology as we know. And so if you were to make an account, so what you're saying is some of those leads that come in that haven't played with this tool yet and are not willing to go ahead. And so but back to training, when they're not willing to go ahead, maybe there's a time issue, they just need more time. Now you'll make an account for them and send it to them. And you can see that they're playing with that home and dreaming about it and saving their best iterations of color combos and stuff like that. So, we talk about this, that the average buying cycle is actually 8 to 10 months. We might meet them at the end of the cycle, and post COVID we thought it was 30 days for everybody, but it's back to normal now. It's back to a typical market where it's 8 to 10 months of the initial discontent happens, and then maybe it's not so bad, we'll live with it, and then something else happens. Oh, yeah, maybe we should move. So if you're the salesperson that's getting in front of them with an updated plan, or I just thought about this, or we just had this new color scheme and I just want to send you a new kitchen layout for you to look at. What a great way to stay in front of them until they're ready to come back in. And now you're top of mind. And guess what? 7, 8 months in, hey, there's Beth. She's been emailing us with different kitchens and different designs. And maybe this neighborhood, maybe Blue Jay Woods one is sold out. Maybe it's I don't know, Sparrow Lane. I can't think of another bird quickly. What is that? Red Wing Estates, maybe just coming through. Um,
That's
Heron
right. And
Boulevard.
you can create urgency. So like these live
Yes,
site home site maps, maybe there were 2 home sites sold when they came in, but now there's
right.
5. Send them a live link
Oh, I
to the
love that.
map. Look,
Yeah.
things are selling quickly.
Yes, yes. For those complacent buyers that think they're the only ones out there, and now, yeah, look, we're 95, we're 90% sold out. We've still got an amazing opportunity for you. We've been holding on to this home site. It would really work well. You can walk to the pool, etc. Yeah, and any kind of creative use of that for follow-up. What a great way, we talk about the fact that, well, Nito Cobain said, when it becomes personal, it becomes important. So instead of just generic follow-up,
Mhm.
if you make them a little video or make them something special and say, just thinking about you, we still have a couple of great opportunities. This is what your home would look like on this home site. When's a good time to come back and walk it together kind of stuff. What do you think?
Exactly. That's where I would make these brochures for my buyers. After somebody I hadn't seen in a while, I was thinking about you. We've got a new floor plan. I know you love 3 beds and 2 baths in this kitchen. So I created a brochure of an idea of what that house could look like
Oh,
for you and send it to them. And they
amazing.
love that.
Well, good. Hey, are we almost wrapped up with the
Yeah,
sales cycle? Because I've got another couple of questions for you that
go
came to
ahead.
mind when you got me all excited now
Yeah.
and raring to go. Yeah. So and amazing. So on the I read you guys sent out that was amazing. Now that the music on this, round of applause for Beth and the amazing technology. I was reading your article that you sent out. I think I got it yesterday, an email about social media posts and some creative ideas that you could do. So one of them, for example, was like, do you like this architectural style or this color scheme? Could you speak to that for a few minutes before we say goodbye and on how to practically use this to get social media posts that really work and get people to reach out to you? Was that
Sure. And,
be fair?
I put together those 10 ideas for marketers, but really salespeople can reuse them too. If as a
Really?
salesperson, you're doing social media to
Yeah.
try to gain business, you can
Yes.
recycle these areas. So the one of them was this or that. So show the
Yeah,
same
that was
plan,
one. Yeah.
maybe in 2 different elevations, or show the
Hmm.
same elevation in a dark color scheme and a light, and ask people to vote and get engaged and
Which is
say what they
brilliant.
like better.
Yeah, yeah, good. And yeah, I mean, in the few minutes we have remaining, we're going to try to keep ourselves on track here. But I really enjoyed that article because my first EXCIA podcast that I did, or video podcast, whatever I was supposed to call it, it was about showing the fact that salespeople can get involved in social media. I think that most builders nowadays have come to terms with the idea that it's going to help the brand, not negatively impact it. Yes, you might need to make the post and feed it to marketing, and the marketing can post them for you. But it's proven now that it generates eyeballs and generates people and sales, qualified traffic. And so with that in mind, salespeople are striving to create good content, and don't have to be an expert on it. So could you give a few other of those tips? You had 10, I read them all. Maybe we can link it to this podcast and find a way to do that so people can read your article and reach out to you. But what were some of the other ideas that you had? I thought they were really clever.
Oh, thank you. Well, one of
Yeah.
my favorites was to make a design contest. And
Okay.
so this
Yeah,
is
there we
where
go.
they could, yeah, send them a link to what we were just looking at, where you design the house
Right.
step by step, and ask them to save it and share it with you. And then you can pick a winner out of all the houses
Oh
that were
my gosh.
designed.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. Everyone wants to be a designer, an architect, and
Mhm.
I would imagine if you got three or four of those back, that would be a very, very well qualified buyer that's beyond just looking at your social media. So what a great way to get them involved. Well,
Right.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the others really kind of are, I would say the common theme is spreading things out. You don't want to talk about the same thing all the time. So if you kind of
Okay.
make a plan, this week I'm going to talk about a floor plan, and then next week a site plan, and then next
I
week
see.
elevations, and maybe the next week
Okay.
a design center, and then find different ways each week to pull one of those in. Another one I
Right.
even had in there was the finance. So call out that you've got a mortgage calculator, and as
Yeah.
they design, and talk about maybe that special finance promotion that you've got going. So it's about
Yeah.
creating variety and
Good.
using the tools you already have. So it doesn't cost you
Right.
anything. It's quick and easy. You can do a
Right.
screen recording, like you had said before,
Mhm.
show yourself using the tool Tiny Mic Tuesday or Tiny Mic Thursday, where you're talking into the little mini microphone and behind you the screen is showing. Those are so
Right.
easy and fun to do. People love to
Sure.
watch those.
I mean, how do if you don't mind, how do you actually make a screen recording for people that are close to my age and
Yeah.
not that tech savvy? Like, how would you make for social media? You'd have a screenshot and then you click on it and it becomes a recording of something. So how would you create that if that's not too hard thing to explain on this
Depends on
forum?
your resources. So my computer has a built-in screen recording video feature, which I love.
Okay.
I only learned about it more recently, but I
Okay.
use that. I also have used Zoom to create a
Yeah.
video
Okay.
sometimes, where you're sharing your
Sure.
screen. I've used BombBomb to do that.
Sure.
And then there are also simple video editing software that you can use
Okay.
while you're recording the screen at one point, and then you're recording yourself at a separate point, and it
Sure.
merges those. So there's lots of different ways you can do
Good, good, good. Yeah, perfect. Well, part of the theme of that podcast a few sessions ago was to get over yourselves and not worry about how you look, because that's how you look. I mean, and we all probably look lovely. We just don't think we do. And the technology aspect, these videos don't have to be long. It could be 8 to 10 seconds of something just to get people's attention, but it's creating enough of the content so the algorithms will point towards you and you get qualified traffic out of it. So I think it's amazing. I do love the idea of do you like this one or this one? It's so easy to interact, and then designing your home and having fun. An invitation to design your next showcase home, move-in ready home, and send it in, and then maybe give credit to them is fantastic. Well, good. So Beth, I've had a great time. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us. We learned how to prepare for a meeting with a customer. We learned how to really get connected during that meeting and showcase your the home they'd be building, and then how to recap, and then even how to follow up, how to use social media. Any other parting thoughts before we say goodbye? What tip would you give your sales leaders and salespeople out there in order to get going with this?
practice. Practice,
Okay.
practice so that you're really comfortable, so that you're not stumbling around when you're doing this with a customer.
I love it. That's exactly right. Just get all your confidence privately, practice, and have fun with it. And even if you do stumble a little bit, we are humans dealing with other humans. They'll work with you. So, but absolutely being prepared. So, what do they say? Confidence leads to confidence. So you practice it 2 or 3 times, you'll be raring to go. Well, thank you so much, Beth. It really is always a pleasure to see you. I'm so happy for you, and I probably look forward to seeing you next time at the Builder Show, if not before.
That's right. Thanks,
All
Roland.
right. Thanks so much.